بسم الله والحمد لله الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تمسك بسنته بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending the salutations upon the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, and upon his family, his companions, and upon all those who follow, upon his guidance to the establishment of the last day. To proceed, ikhwan, Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min ilmin la yanfa' wa min qalbin la yakhsha' wa min nafsin la tashba' wa min du'a'in la yusma'. Verily, Ya Allah, we seek refuge with you from knowledge that has no benefit, and from a heart that has no fear, and from a soul that has no satisfaction nor contentment, and from a dua that goes unanswered, and from a dua that goes unanswered. To proceed, ikhwan, فَاللَّهُمَّ نَحْمَدُكَ الَّذِي وَصَلْنَا إِلَى شَهْرِ رَمَضَانَ. So all praise belongs to Allah who has allowed us to reach this blessed month of Ramadan. فنواصل في تعليمنا اللغة العربية. I wish we could make it a little wider here. Wow. That would be awesome. As we continue to learn from the science of the Arabic language, from the science of the Arabic language. فَمَنْ قَرَأَ الْبَابِ. So who read the chapter so far? We did half the chapter in class. Who read the chapter so far? Anyone read it? Completed the whole chapter? Sheikh Abdullah? Anyone else here, Ikhwan? That's a little crook. How did we have it last time, yeah? I got this. There we go. No, I think the board is fine. Yeah, I was trying to make it like a little more straight. See, up here is uneven a little, but that's fine. Well, we had a low straight last time. So high. No, شكرا شيخ. طيب فلا نزال في باب الخامس. We're still in chapter number 5. We're still in chapter number 5. وقلنا لكم يا إخوان أن هذا الباب باب كبير. And we mentioned before that this chapter is a nice size chapter. Chapter 5 is a big size. فمن لا يفهم الآن من له سؤال أو إشكال أو كذا. So who has any questions so far يا إخوان about what we learned so far? إذا أسألكم شيء أسئلة من يجيبه. So we ask you some questions. Who has the ability to answer? طيب فكنا متكلمين يا إخوان عن المفرد. So in the previous lesson we were given the honor by Allah Ta'ala to talk about al-mufrad. 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 فما تعريف المفرد? What does it mean? The mufrad. What does it mean, the mufrad? Hey, something that points to one. ما دل على شيء واحد. شيء واحد. That which points to one thing. That which points to one thing. ما دل على شيء واحد. That which points to one. That which points to one. طيب وتعلمنا الذي يدلان على شيئين. And we also learn the thing that points to two things. Now, ما هو? What's the thing that points to two? المثنى. أحسنتم. جميلة. طيب, let's begin inshallah. فالمفرد ما دل على شيء واحد. That which points to one. والمثنى ما دل على شيئين. The muthanna is the thing that points to two. فعندما أسألكم على أسئلة, so when I ask you on your test, ما هو الذي يدل على شيئين. So when I ask you, ما هو الذي يدل على شيئين, if we say, what is the thing that points to two? How can you answer? أحسنت. المثنى. ما يدل على شيئين. Where's my Hamza? طيب. نعم. شيئين. طيب. So for those that have the book, وصلنا إلى صفحة كم? What page did we arrive at, يا إخوان? Page 42. طيب. نبدأ في الرقم السادس. Let's start at point number 6. من يقرأ بصوت عال? Who can read with a loud voice? Loud voice. No. Good. حيوان. ها. Change the jim to a ha. No. No. طيب, stop there. حسبك. طيب, stop there. حسبك. طيب, معنى هذا, all this means يا إخوان. طيب, عندنا الآن جمع المؤنث السالم. So now we have what is called جمع المؤنث السالم. جمع المؤنث السالم. So we have the sound, masculine, plural. جمع المؤنث السالم. We have the sound, masculine, plural. Sound, feminine, plural. عفوا. Sound, feminine, plural. طيب, عندكم هذا. You have this already written down. إن شاء الله تعالى. طيب, مثال هذا, an example of this يا إخوان. Malikatun. Malikatun is the word Malikatun. Malikatun, queens. طيب المفرد, the singular ملكة. The singular is ملكة. ملكة, a queen. A queen. A queen. طيب الآن نريد أن نجعلها جمعا. Now we want to make this word the plural. فأصل طيب مفردها مؤنث. So it's already feminine in the singular. كيف عرفنا أنها مؤنث? How do you know it's feminine? تاء مربوطة. أحسنت. طيب الآن سنضيف الألف والتاء. Now we're going to add the alif and the ta. Or if you will, technically, the ta's already there. المربوطة تغيرت مفتوحة. The ta مربوطة is going to become an open ta. Technically. ملكة. So the ta مربوطة is already there. So we added the alif. We added the alif. ملكاتٌ, princesses. طيب الذي يشكل على بعض الطلاب, the thing that is difficult upon some students is the جامع مؤنث السالم لا تقبل الفتحة. The tricky part is that the sound feminine plural does not accept fatha. Does not accept fatha. So the sound that it is mansoob is al-kasr. So the jam'u manat al-salam la taqbalu fathatan abadan. This shape here, the sound feminine plural, is never going to accept the fatha. Some words, for whatever reason, the Arab, it doesn't accept each case. So here it accepts the mansoob, but the sign that is mansoob is kasr. طيب انظر هنا يا اخوان. And this is going to be tricky for some of us. طيب نقول مثلا محمد علي نعيم. طيب. So now we have a few names. محمد علي نعيم. طيب. كل هذه الأسماء سواء في ماذا? Each one of these names are the same in what? Each one of these words, rather, are the same in what? Let's see who's paying attention. Each one is a what? طيب, something about their ending. اشرح, explain. طيب, كلها أسماء. Each one is a noun. Correct. What else? Sheikh Abdul Wali? Everyone's going to get a turn. MashaAllah. كلها مذكر. Each one is masculine. Accent. Yusuf. الله أكبر. كلها ماذا؟ مفرد. Each one is singular. سماء. There are many. Our sister? They all in the dhamma. They all marfu'. Each one is nominative. طيب كلها علم. They all proper names. طيب كلها منونة. Each one ends in a tanween. That's a new word, yeah. Let's learn that word. Munawwanun. That's a word in the technical grammar. Munawwanun. The word is munawwan. Munawwanun. It has a tanween, or ends in tanween. It's a new word, 10 times each. Munawwan. Every word that ends in a tanween, you can call it munawwan. Munawwan. Allahu Akbar. Every word, everyone who believes in Allah is called, trick question. No one. Allahu Akbar. طيب. So Muhammadun munawwan, Aliyun munawwan, Naeemun munawwan. Each one of these words are munawwan, meaning they end in tanween. Each one is mudhakkar, masculine, mufrad, singular, alamun, proper noun, proper name. طيب. نعم. طيب, we're getting in now. But we had that word before. That was a fancy word, high level English. We said don't use that word unless your English is mashallah. No problem. The only thing, ikhwan, was sometimes it's okay to have tremendous vocab. There's nothing wrong with that. But most times you still got to break down what you're saying. Alhamdulillah. So the oblique, oh, that was one of your vocab. Oh. طيب. See, this reminds you guys, ikhwan. The oblique in Arabic is the غير منصرف. The غير منصرف. The word that is not fully declined is, in English, high-level English, oblique. غير منصرف. غير منصرف is not fully declined. Not fully declined. So the word in high-level English, oblique, no problem. Most time you're going to raise your hand. Ya akhi, what does oblique mean? Number one, ya ikhwan, remember, what did we say our first class, when I first met your brothers and sisters? Nadrusu shay wa la nadrusu shay. We're studying something and we're not studying something else. Who remembers? Hey, we're studying Arabic, ya ikhwan. Now we expect all of you to be able to go back and teach this book after we're done. Inshallah, that's our goal. Every teacher, if we can say that, I wouldn't say teacher, everyone that's helping his brothers and sisters or sharing with his brothers and sisters hopes that they can take what they learned and pass it on. طيب. So you want to learn all these fancy words, no problem, but don't focus on them. Understand them, learn them, امشي. طيب. So let's get back in. So now, كل هذا منصرف. This is one that you all missed. Each one of these words are منصرف. They are fully declined. What does that mean? What does منصرف mean? They take a dhamma, they take a fatha, they take a kasra. They take all three. So Muhammad can be marfu', mansub, majroor. Ali can be marfu', mansub, majroor. Naeem can be marfu', mansub, majroor. So Muhammad can come, in some examples, you can have Muhammadun. Sometimes you're going to say Muhammad can be Muhammadun. It can also be Mansuban, Muhammadan. It can also be Majruran, Muhammadin. If a word can accept all three, if the word can be marfu', it can end in dhamma. And the word is mansub, it ends in fatha. And that same word can also be majroor. This is called munsarif. That's it. The word that cannot accept all three is called in English an oblique, in high-level English, or is not fully declined on our level, high school level English. طيب, in Arabic, غير منصرف. So 2 terms to memorize. That's it. First one, munsarif. That's it. Munsarif. Munsarif. Fully declined. Second word, غير منصرف. That's it. Is not fully declined. Father. Accent. A lot of times, you just got to memorize it. Your first couple years of Arabic, you're going to memorize words and shapes. Words and definitions. Not really, no, not your first couple years. First couple years, definition is not important. Right. What does the word salah mean? You're a new Muslim, that's not important. When this time comes, you make salah. That's it. Right, let's continue, ikhwan. So now, look at this word now. Melikatun. Someone give me a verb. Masjid, that's a noun. Dhahaba. Dhahaba means to go. It can also mean, we'll give you some fiqh terminologies, to have an opinion, to have a position. Dhahaba means to go. Dhahabat al-malikatu. Where do you want her to go, ya ikhwan? Ila al-masjidi. So you want to become Muslim, alhamdulillah. ذهبت الملكة إلى المسجد. Man يترجم. Who can translate? Who went? The king? Close, super close. Hey, the queen. ذهبت الملكة إلى المسجد. طيب كيف عبد الوالي يعلم أن الملكة هي التي ذهبت? How did Abdul Wali know that the queen went? Y'all both close. How do you know that the queen is the one who did the action? Not the Tamar Buta, or something else. Look at her carefully. Now you're going to look at the shape. How do you know? There's something that teaches us. Something about, close. Accent. You see a verb. It's a principle. I'm about to give you a 3 years later principle. You memorize this today, you're about to be a sheikh. Inshallah. You see the verb, dhahabat. What does dhahaba mean? To go. Who went? The queen. How do you know? One indicator. The noun comes after the verb and it ends in dhamma. That's it. If you can memorize that, you can identify the doer in every verse. You can identify the doer in every hadith. You can identify the doer in every statement. The noun comes after the verb that ends in dhamma. That's the doer. 99.9.9%. Diet. So what I want you to memorize is this. You're going to say the word malika. The word malika is marfu'. Add Malika, shukran. Should be a what? Okay. Shukran, ya Yusuf. The word Malika is marfu'. That's all I want you to memorize. How do you know that Malika did the action? Because she is marfu'. The word Malika is marfu'. What does marfu' mean? She ends in a dhamma. That's it. If you can memorize that, ya ikhwan, you're upon a lot of good. So, the noun, any noun comes after a verb? No. The noun has to be marfu', has to end in dhamma. طيب. Man la yafham, who doesn't understand that? Kullukum fahimun, everyone understands, inshallah. The noun comes after the verb, ends in dhamma, is the fa'il, is the doer. طيب. Now, you guys have that? طيب. انظر هنا. Now pay attention here. Now, let's change it slightly. Something is going to be done to the queen. طيب. نظر علي الملكة من النافذة. Oh, who can translate this sentence? Ya ikhwan. Let's see who's really paying, who's really reading the book, or who just brings their book to class. نظر علي ملكة الملكة من النافذة. Who can translate? Do we have nadara already? Nadara, first time. Nadara means to see. Nadara means to see. That's another word. 2 words so far today. Nadara, it should be Arabic. Go to Arabic. Nadara. Nadara means to see or to look. To see or to look. To see or to look. That's a new verb. Nadara means to see or to look. He saw or he looked at. Every word we learn, 10 times each. I gotta start checking your notebooks, ya ikhwan, to see who's actually writing the words. Inshallah. Remember, writing the words is not the goal, ya ikhwan. The goal is that we try to memorize them. Some of the brothers say, I wrote it 100 times. I still don't got it. Write it some more. نظر علي الملكة من النافذة. Nadara means to look. Who can translate now? Or to see or to look. Ahsant. Ali saw or seen the queen from the window. La bas. Mine also. Yours better than mine. طيب. Nadara means to see. Ali saw. How do you know Ali saw? Samad. How do you know Ali is the one that did the action? After the verb and it ends in dhamma. That's it. You see the verb. Nadara is the verb. Nadara means to see. Who saw? Ali is a noun. Ali comes after the verb. Ali ends in dhamma. Ali did it. Ali saw the queen. Tayyib. Another principle. The noun comes after the verb, but it's mansoob. It's always going to be the maf'ulun bih. Always. So Malika is also a noun. Ali is a noun, but Malika ends in fatha. She's never going to be the doer. She's going to be the one that something was done to her. So nadara means to see. Ali saw. Who did Ali see? The queen. How do you know? Fatha. That's it. If you can find the dhamma, you can find the doer. If you can find the fatha, you can find the thing or the one that the action was done to. Last point. Now, let's use the plural. And this is the tricky part, ya ikhwan. All that was for this point here. Malikatun accepts a dhamma. Malikatun accepts a kasra. But malikatun does not accept a fatha. So it can have a dhamma, malikatun. It can have a kasra, malikatin. It's never going to be malikatan. Never. Now the tricky part, technically as far as the meaning, no, it is غير منصرف. In Arabic, it is غير منصرف. Because it does not accept all three. Our sister is correct. So it accepts the dhamma, it accepts a kasra, it does not accept fatha. So now, if we use the same type of examples, nadara, This should be Arabic, ya ikhwan. Aliyun nadara. Aliyun al-malikati. Min al-nafidati. Who can translate? Nadara Aliyun al-malikati. Or let's take Alif Lam away. Keep it how we had it. Who can translate? Nadara is at our vowels. Aliyun. This shed that's supposed to be over the ya, but it's not allowing me to. There you go. Malikatin mina nafidati. Who can give it a try? Our sister. تفضلي. نظر علي ملكات من النافذة. We have our other sisters today also. One of our sisters give that a try. Shamsuddin can go next. She looked from the alley. You're close. You're right there. The Arab is, he's still giggling like these Americans, mashallah. But he understands what you're trying to say. Our other sister, help her out. Sisters can work together. Translate. Nafida is the window. MashaAllah. Ali saw 3 or more queens from the window. What's the point here? We did all that to show what? Three queens. 3 or more queens. Something about them grammatically. She never accepts fatha. So the Jami' wa Salam is never going to accept the fatha. All of them. No. Shabakun. One last tricky part. I'm trying my best to skip it because it's important, but not that important right now. What time is it? Our sheikh is tired already? Oh yeah, I got it. We're recording everything. We're going to send it to I'll try my best to send it tonight. As soon as I break my fast, I'll be tired. I got to start breaking fast at the masjid so I can stay. As soon as Bismillah, aftaratu, ana anamu, I will sleep. May Allah help us, ya ikhwan. I'm not as strong as I used to be, I guess. I used to fast a lot more, ya ikhwan. Who doesn't understand? Everyone understands? Where Yusuf go? Yusuf left? La ba. Assalamu alaikum, Yusuf. Let's go to page number. Everyone is okay to finish this last page, or we said we only want to do a half hour in Ramadan. We already did 46 minutes. So it's up to the group. I don't want to push nobody while they're fasting. If we can get one more, Abdullah says one more, let's take a poll. How many people got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6? One more. We try our best to get done as quick as we can, ya ikhwan. Someone read from number 8. Inshallah. Someone read number 8. Stop there for a moment. Accidentally. Human beings are concerned. No, finish the last sentence. IG. Hayawanatun. One more. طيب, stop there. طيب, look here for a moment يا إخوان. حيوان. طيب, هذه الكلمة جديدة لنا. This is one of our new words. حيوان, animal or an animal. I don't know why it does that يا إخوان. حيوان. طيب, an animal. An animal. طيب. Now the tricky part is that hayawan, the singular is masculine, but the plural is feminine. Sometimes it's like that also. طيب, hayawanun. Now as our sister read, the adjective agrees with the noun it describes in gender and number and in case. Now this is tricky, ikhwan. The sifa agrees with the mawsuf in everything. So مثلا, now let's give hayawan al-sifa. Let's give hayawan al-sifa. Who remembers mawsuf and sifa? Hayawanun, an animal. Now let's describe the animal. Someone give us a description. Big, kabirun. Hayawanun, kabirun. A large animal. A large animal. طيب. Hayawanun mufrad. Hayawan is singular. So kabir has to be singular. Hayawan is masculine. So kabir has to be masculine. Hayawan is marfu', kabir is marfu'. So it's going to agree in three things. The sifa agrees with the mawsuf fi kulli shay. It agrees with the mawsuf in everything. So now let's make it feminine. Ukhtun. Someone describe the sister nicely. Not like we describe each other nowadays. Want someone be nice for Muslims? Someone, what you say, Jamilun? Oh, mashallah. Who can translate? A beautiful sister. طيب. Now, since ukhtun is feminine, and the sifa has to agree in everything, we have to make the sifa, طيب. Since ukhtun is feminine, the mawsuf, we have to make the sifa also feminine. The sifa has to agree with the mawsuf in everything. So now jamil becomes jamilatun. So if the word is masculine, the sifa is masculine. If the word is mu'annatha, the sifa is mu'annatha. You guys with me? طيب. It agrees with it in case. Say we said ukhtan. Now jamilatan has to be there. Has to agree in number, has to agree in gender, has to agree in case. If it's marfu', the sifa is marfu'. If it's mufrad, the sifa is mufrad. If it's mudhakkar, it's mudhakkar. Three things: gender, number, and case. Let's go step by step. Now the tricky part is if it's a non-human object. If it's غير عقل. If it's غير عقل. That's a new term grammatically. If it's غير عقل. It has no intelligence. Meaning, it can't differentiate from right or wrong. Animals have intelligence. When the ulama say it doesn't have intelligence, it means, this sukoon, I'm trying to write it over the but it's not allowing me to. So when you say the animal doesn't have an intelligence, it means an animal can't differentiate between right and wrong. A dog can be smart, a cat can be smart, a horse can be smart. It doesn't mean it has no intelligence. It means it can't make the takhyir. It can't choose between right and wrong. So this is غير عقل. If it's not Human, has no intellect. That's right, Ikhwan. It can't differentiate between right and wrong. It doesn't mean that it's ignorant. Okay? غير عقل. غير العقل. Aql is your rationale. The scholars differ into two opinions. And where is your brain at? You guys ever heard this argument before? It's a nice argument. Islam, mashallah. Yeah. The Christians and Jews say your brain is in one place. Your brain. Your mind is in your heart. Your brain. Or your mind is in your brain. Your thinking is in your brain. Islam argues that. And they have proof too. Yeah, Islam is awesome. Islam says, the strongest opinion is that your mind, not in your brain, is in your heart. And they use the verse, وَقُلُوبٌ يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا, where Allah Ta'ala says, do they not have hearts that they comprehend with? Allah didn't say minds. At any rate, so that's why it's in your heart. Your intention is in your heart. Your mind can say one thing. You can say to your wife, get out. Or she can say to you nowadays, get out. That happens more times than the other time. The difficult part, ya ikhwan, al-hasb niyyah, it depends on intention. The man and the woman is arguing. The man says, that's it. Go back to your parents. That can mean a divorce. Although he didn't say the word divorce. The woman says, get out. That can mean a khul' if she means it. That's why out of all the games to play, we shouldn't play games with marriage and divorce. A man says, I'll divorce you. I'm getting another wife now anyway. And then he says, sight. He still what? Pronounced divorce. Unless his intention wasn't there. If his intention was there, he committed it. If his intention wasn't there and he was just joking, it doesn't count. At any rate, so the ghayru aql. Now this is the tricky part. Give me a moment, inshallah. في قلوب يفقهون بها وآذان تسمعون بها. And they do not have hearts that they comprehend with, and ears that they listen with, and eyes that they see. No. But that won't be a proof that the mind is in the heart. Give me a second, inshallah. I'll check it, inshallah. So now the tricky part. Some of you are going to say, go back, ya akhi, bismillah. Now, if it's ghayru aql, you can do one or two things. Someone give me something that's ghayru aql, an abstract, something abstract. The masjid. Masjidun. Now, if you take something that's ghayru aql, and you use the plural of it. The plural of masjid is masajidu. Masajidu. Here's an example of a shape. Memorize this shape. This shape is always going to be ghayru munsarif. This shape, mafa'ilu. If you memorize this shape, mafa'ilu. That's on the notes. Our brother Abdullah wrote for our notes for some of the plurals. This is one of the shapes. That's ghayru munsarif. So we take something as an animate object, is ghayru aql. We use the plural of it. The plural is feminine. So let's say masajidu. Now let's describe the masajid. The masajid in New Jersey are beautiful. Now, although it's ghayru aql, it's the plural, so it's feminine. Now this is the tricky part. Jamilatun. You could do one or two ways here. We mentioned earlier that it has to agree in everything. In number, in case, and in gender. That's only for the aql. When it's ghayru aql, it doesn't have to agree in number. It's the tricky part. So I'm going to give you the easy way to memorize it. For the first 6 months, I want you to make a match. If you use something that's ghayru aql, still follow the same principle. Get used to using it. Don't become confused. If it's the plural, use the sifa and the plural. If it's feminine, use the sifa and the feminine. But what the book is teaching us here, if you go, I'm on number 8 in the middle of the book. You can do one or two ways. You can keep masajid in the plural, and you can bring the singular sifa and make it feminine. You can do two ways the Arab used to do, or the Arab does. Two ways. You can say jamilatun in the singular, or jamilatun in the plural. So if it's ghayru aql, you can do one or two ways. They can agree in everything, or you can keep the feminine, and it doesn't have to agree. Just make it feminine. If you look at your book, you have hayawanatun wahshatun. Wahsha is singular. Why? Because hayawanatun is ghayru aql. So you can do one or two ways. So pay attention there. Then he brings, and we'll stop at this point here. Khadimun ghaibun, an absent servant, masculine. Khadimani ghaibani, two absent servants. Khadimuna ghaibuna, three or more absent servants. Khadimatun ghaibatun. Now you do the same thing for the feminine. It has to agree in three things. في الحال, case, والجنس, gender, والعدد, and number. Khadimatun, a female servant, the sifa has to agree. Ghaibatun, an absent female servant. Right? So pay attention there, ikhwan. And if you see, even at the bottom here, as some of the scholars they say, in grammar, it doesn't have to be the ghayru aql. Some say as long as it's the jam'u anath salam, you can do both. So the scholars differ. So we'll save that argument, not to confuse no one, inshallah. But sometimes the scholars differ, even in Arabic, like in tafsir, like in hadith. So I believe that's all we have to do now, and we can start the homework. Oh, almost. So we'll stop there for our class. Inshallah ta'ala. Today's dua is going to be a dua specific for Ramadan. Someone asked me some time ago, what about the statement Ramadan Kareem? Ramadan Kareem is better not to say. It has no origin. You're going to hear many people say this, because some people think you have to say Ramadan Kareem if someone says Ramadan Mubarak to you. You can say Saeed, something like that. Ramadan Mubarak has an origin, but Ramadan Kareem doesn't have an origin. Number two, grammatically is wrong, because Ramadan doesn't give karam. Kareem is generous. Ramadan is not generous. Allah is generous. So even grammatically, that's not right. But you can say Ramadan Mubarak. Ramadan Mubarak. You can say that. It's better not to say this also, but it's allowed. This has an origin. The reason some scholars say it's better not to say is because the Salaf, they didn't say Ramadan Mubarak to each other. But grammatically, that's correct. You can say to someone, may you have a blessed Ramadan. That's correct. You can say that. You can't say that's a sunnah. Like raising your hands in the qunut. It's allowed. Our beloved Imam, he says in his beautiful voice, Hafidhahullah, may Allah preserve him. He says, Allahumma atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhab an-nar. One of the dua that he says usually throughout the night. And it's a sunnah. Allahu Akbar. And half the masajid, they raise their hands with the qunut. That's allowed to do. It's better not to. Why is it better not to? Because the Prophet didn't do it. There's no narration that the Prophet raised his hands. So the best is that you make your dua with your hands as the Prophet of Allah's hands were on his chest. But if you want to raise your hands, that's allowed to do. You don't get a reward for raising your hands. It's better not to, as there's no proof that the Prophet raised his hands. We talked about the Yameen the last time in class, right? We mentioned that. طيب. So today's dua, what's the dua for Ramadan? You can say, Ya ikhwan. طيب. تقبل الله صيامك. تقبل الله صيامك. صيامك. May Allah accept your fast. There should be a fatha over that qaf. تقبل الله صيامك. May Allah accept your fast. Okay, afwan. 1 second, inshallah. تقبل الله صيامك. That's for the mudhakkar. That's for the masculine. The woman is going to say, or you're talking to a woman, صيامك. A male says صيامك to a male. You're talking to a woman, you say صيامك. تقبل الله صيامك. May Allah accept your fast. Kaf, ka for a male, ki for a female. Ka for a male, ki for a female. And we'll stop there, inshallah. Anyone has anything they wanted to add? A sister said when a woman comes on her menses, does she have to renew her intention? The correct opinion is yes. Because she stopped fasting for some days, so she should renew her intention. Do you have to say the intention before the Ramadan or every night? The scholars of Islam differ. Some say since you fast and then you break your fast every night, that you have to renew your intention. That's one opinion. And other scholars, they say no, you can have one opinion for the month. You only change your intention. If a man, we go to New York and we travel and we break our fast while we're there and we stay there for 4 days. Since we stop fasting for a certain amount of time, we have to renew our intention. If a woman is on her menses and for a few days, she stopped fasting for a few days straight, when she comes back that night before, she should renew her intention. And we'll stop there. We won't give no homework tonight, Ikhwan. Just finished memorizing the vocabulary of the chapter. Make sure you understand the vocab. Take a look.